This is my first live broadcast. My name is Douglas Attila Jamali, and I'm a new prophet like Moses. Tonight we're going to be discussing on Universe TV the bondage of Egypt and how it affects us all today. The bondage of Egypt, that which Moses freed us from 5,000 years ago, is affecting us now and today by what is known as called the time warp. The exposure of the time warp is a fatal offense in the time world's idea form, i.e. anyone who exposes the time warp and the bondage of Egypt is marked for death. They kill anyone who exposes this. So I'm putting my life on the line here, putting it out live, and I'm hoping that at least one or more people are listening. So you understand what's going on. What is the time warp? What's happening there? Well, this all comes and revolves about what is known as the game, and I'll be doing another presentation on that later. But it has to do with timelines, at which I stand here on the stage in representation of, in the survivorship of Armageddon. On the stage here we have the left square, the right square, and the center square, and a surrounding arena of 5 divisions that represent the 5 ones of power of death. And I, holding the 6 one of power of life, stand here in the center, holding what is known as the Ark of Covenant, Ark of Testimony, and the Ark of Noah, the library, sitting on a foundation of public key infrastructure. I.e., what goes into the library is exactly what comes out of it, sacrosanct. So the new bondage, the bondage of Egypt, affecting us all, is in effect that over the last several, at least 2.5 millennia, I'm sure of, right, basing it around the deaths of Jennifer and I being so significant that there's a roll back of time. And it starts to skew the timelines thereof once was the wars between heaven and earth and hell. Michael, David, Satan, all under the Lord. And the deaths of Armageddon, they all perished. So in my existence out of there, and with my existence in there, all three of which are the living plus the Vassalon and the rest of the universe, including the Olympians. I said before, Hades gave me the gift to give to the Olympians of welcome back to living. This is where upstairs and downstairs was separated, severed, by 5 alpha mega device explosions. 4 kingdoms of heaven, hell, and earth, all separated, and said by these 5 bands here on the stage, by an alpha mega device explosion. So the bondage of Egypt, in a sense, is that we are going forward in time for a period of time, right? And then there's a rollback in time. And then, whatever you were doing, that first forward time movement, forward time, they change something and push you over to one of the 2 sidelines from the center and take your accomplishment from you of your hard work over and over and over now for at least the last 2 millennia in 3 to 5 year segments. These 3 to 5 year segments, they put you in a job. You work for 3 or 4 or 5 years. You make all this money or whatever it is, and then they push you over when there's a pullback in time and let somebody sit on their ass in your seat where you once worked hard and made money. And they put you in another job. And you work hard and make money, and they put somebody else sitting there where you once were. Well, you got degraded down and down and down and down the ladder of the corporate arena. Again, another form of this bondage of Egypt isn't that there the payment of mortgage. You've been paying 3 to 5 year segments of mortgage on your home for the last 2 millennia. Bondage of Egypt, wouldn't you say? So I'm here to expose this, all of this, on the stage here, on Universe TV, and how that affects us all as a new prophet like Moses, to guide you through these things, in and out what happened with Moses 5,000 years ago, and what's happening here today as I, a new prophet like Moses, to lead the people out from the bondage of Egypt by the exposure thereof of what the time world is doing to all of us, and has been doing to all of us. for some time. You see, I'm the leak in the game. What does that mean? That in those pullbacks of time, I remember when no one else does. This is what is known as past life regression. And I remember all of them. And you all go forward in time with me once upon this stage, here with me. They never will be able to pull this shit on you ever again. For in a pullback in time, I still go forward in time. Remember everything. So, in that, I want to make sure that you understand that they're trying to pull me out of the presidency of the United States of America after I'd been president for a year and a half when I won against Trump. So there was a pullback in time, and there was so much significant change that they couldn't undo it. I made so much, and that echoed all the way up to the 85th century of America, where everything fell into ruin. When that pullback in time, it had already gone through 6,500 years of history, right? And the pullback wasn't great enough to undo it all the way to the 85th century. There was too much change that the undo didn't work. So as I said, I've been the president of the United States of America for over a year and a half, and they pulled the plug on me and pushed me out and changed it so that I didn't even get put on the ballot. So I had 270,000 signatures on the ballot. They took me off of it against Trump. And I had another 405,000 signatures put me on the ballot against Biden. And they didn't. As well as my declaration of war and more. This is all going to the courts in the universe. With the exposure there of the bondage of Egypt, the human race has been put under again. Like the pharaohs of the ancient, Moses relieving us, and I'm here to do the same. Exposure of this and more on the stage. My name's Douglas Attila Trelawney, and that infamous Doctor Who was space-time traveler and Grandmaster space-time navigator. Once again, I hope it's heard of me.